rallying, and it's all been saloon cars really. I've never actually ventured into anything other than sports, other than saloon cars, mainly because I think most of my motorsport was tied in with manufacturers.
Geoff, I remember once you went into, I think it was the desert race, in an Audi Quattro, that rather shattered the establishment of off-roaders.
Yes, Roger, I'd competed in a few off-road races over the years in vehicles like Nomads and things like that, and even Leyland Marina panel vans and what have you, and decided that I'd once more wanted to have a go at an off-road race, so I chose the Toyota Desert Race. I think it was run in those days by John Salters, and I asked him if I could enter an Audi Quattro, and he said, well, you can enter anything you like, but he says, I don't think you'll get very far. He says, these roads are made for really tough vehicles, and he said you can't service the vehicle every 20 kilometers like you're used to doing on national championship rallies. So I said, well, we'd like to have a go anyway, which we did, and we had to have one extra fuel stop on the first 500 kilometers and one on the way back. We had an absolutely trouble-free run. I was Spotty Woodhead and myself, and we were back in Freiburg 55 minutes before the next car.
That's great. You certainly tried it all. Your preference, rallying, racing, off-roading?
I think that I did so much rallying later on in life that with not as much racing, that I think in the end my preference became rallying. I enjoyed it more. I found everything about rallying a bit more challenging, and sort of the people involved in rallying seemed to be of a different type.
More laid back, you think?
Yes, yeah. Sort of
bigger parties, you think?
Maybe that's right.
Okay, Geoff, and then you swapped over. I mean, you won the rally championship in '87. Those are the days Cyril van der Merwe was also around there, big time. He was winning rally championships.
Yes. Yeah, well, Cyril and I go back a long way. We drove a lot of cars together, 2 years with Ford in the same team and 5 or 6 years with Audi. So in those 5 or 6 or 7 years, I think Cyril won of the 6 or 7 championships that he won. I think I was runner-up about 5 or 6 times.
Like sort of as the bridesmaid sort of thing.
Well, that was my job. I had to prepare a car for him to win. I'm not saying I could beat him, but occasionally used to beat him and finish on the. We always had a lot of podium finishes and things like that. But winning wasn't that important to me. I'm a sort of a car preparer type person. I like to make the things work. And driving to me was always just a bonus, which I enjoyed doing a lot.
And you've got a long history of that too. Okay, I mean, and you went into team management. I mean, you've been manager of a few very successful teams.
Yeah. Yes, I think my longest association was with Volkswagen from the early 80s through to the late 80s.
That's with Audi as well,
yes,
too. Those great Quattros. I mean, they were all spectacular cars.
Yeah, with VW and Audi. And we had a lot of success in those years.
So, I mean, you went Toyota, GM. I remember you had a Marina with a V8 Rover engine that won national rallies. It was unbelievable. People were shattered at a Marina.
They couldn't believe it. There was, in fact, an article appeared very recently in a British magazine, a classic car magazine, with an article on this car that had been created in Africa and could win rallies and beat cars like Ford Escorts, things like that.
These days, I mean, I know you look after a couple of prominent racing guys.
Yes, I'm involved in both.